All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is, in fact, Tuesday, which around here means a good thing. It's Brewsday Tuesday, week 2 of Brewsday Tuesday. We should have done a special, even more celebration because it's 2 of Tuesday.
Brewsday. We got 4, 8, 10, 6, anyway.
We'll celebrate them all, man.
We can do like cubed one time. It'll all be good.
Cubes Day.
Cube steak beer. I haven't made that one yet.
Well, it is Brewsday Tuesday, which is when I'm happy to open the studio door to my man Huck here, a beer enthusiast, hucksbeerbuzz.com if you want to check that out, at hucksbeerbuzz on the Twitter, and of course on Untapped you can find him, Huck's Beer Buzz, as well. How you been, man? It's been a week since I seen you.
It's been good. We got through the holidays, drank a lot of beer, so now we're just cruising along.
Into the regular January. The cold. It's so cold outside. He brought this beer up, and he was like, you know what? The stuff isn't super warm yet. Let me just put it back outside the door real quick.
Set it outside, cooled it down.
Let it get nice and chill.
So this is the time of year where we're all going to drink session beers.
Session beers?
No, we're not.
I don't know. What do you mean session beers?
Session beers. It's a new thing. They make a beer. It's only 5 or 6% alcohol instead of like a barley wine, which is 12. So you drink a lighter beer, and you can drink more of them. You can have a long session.
Ah, okay.
Of course.
So session beers are standard beers. You're saying like 5 or 6. So that's pretty
yeah,
average, right?
Some of them down to 4.5, down there in the range of the golden water beers, which we won't mention. But in any case, I actually have a saying I like to say, which is they're all session beers to me.
Yeah.
Which means I don't care, 10% session beer. But anyway.
Go hard, right?
Yeah, most people, it's a problem, So they're making beers that are a little bit lighter on the alcohol because people don't want to, get in trouble.
See, but I would think that with the cold, usually you think of a darker, heavier beer that usually I would think has a higher alcohol.
Well, I wasn't really referring to the cold, more of the New Year's resolutions.
So people are trying to stay fit.
Yeah, let's cut back on our drinking. Let's get rid of all those biscuits we ate over the holidays.
Instead of cut back on the drinking, you're saying you just switch to a lighter beer.
Lighter beer, because you can't stop. Come on.
Let's be honest. Yeah, you can kind of control your New Year because you can't just cut alcohol out completely. That's just ridiculous. You could try and cut back, maybe go for the lighter, session beers. Session beers. I like it. That'll be my New Year's resolution.
There you go. Sessions.
All right, cool, man. So you brought some session beers today?
Well, kind of. These are like the original beer, the original craft beer, in my opinion. And these pale ales.
Pale ale. That's the classic. That's like the basic of a craft beer.
And I brought a couple of pale ales, and one of them, the first one we're drinking right now, is the Starr Hill Grateful Pale Ale.
So we're starting with the Grateful Pale Ale, Starr Hill. Now these guys, I know you've known them for a long time. Out of Charlottesville, I've gotten out there to the brewery. I'm sure you have as well.
Oh yeah,
they have a lot of great brews, really cool guys. And one of the things I do love about them is their labels are always really, really cool, and they have catchy names too. Which a lot of the times, I'm not gonna lie to you. This Grateful Pale Ale, it used to have even more of a hardcore. Great, deadhead kind of a theme to it. And, the beer wasn't my favorite, but just seeing it, you're like, oh, I got to buy that beer,
Yeah, it's got the whole theme to it, and people like a theme beer. And it's a really good beer, Pale Ale is one of my gateway beers, the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I brought a Pale Ale today. So we're going to probably work through a lot of beers this year. But this one I thought, a little bit in the theme of getting healthy again after the holidays and lighter, but nonetheless, getting back to our roots.
It is a lighter beer. It's got a nice color to it. It's got some hops, but it's not knock you over the head hoppy like one of the guys you brought last time. What was they? The clone.
The IPA clone.
Yeah, that was pretty.
That's the thing with the pale ale. A lot of people are like, I don't like IPAs. Well, pale ale is a good way to go, and if you drink a few of them, you're going to find a type that might lead you to an IPA that you like, because there's several kinds of IPAs, and we'll touch on that in another show, but we'll have a really in-depth discussion of IPAs one day.
There is the IPA debate, but we'll leave that for another Brewsday Tuesday.
Today we're just kind of cruising on the brews.
Cruising with the light brews. So Starr Hill, What do you know about it? I knew the guy Mark, but I think he sold it, right? Do you know who's owner now?
The history, and of course, everything I say has a BS ratio of maybe 60%.
Because you're always a few session beers in.
Right, you just never know. But I went there years ago when they were first starting out, and at some point he was purchased at 50% by AB, the mothership.
Yeah.
And that went on for a while, and then when they sold to InBev, they released him to some extent. I think he still has some ownership. I think he is a majority owner again now.
Really?
He's still distributed by InBev in Virginia, but he's no
I
longer.
know Virginia Eagle distributes around here.
Right. He's
They're
no longer.
the
I don't
local
think
guys.
they're. He's no longer controlled by them.
Gotcha.
I think he was released from contractually being, because he's one of the early ones that sold.
Yeah, Starr Hill. I mean, Starr Hill, in the grand scheme of things of local breweries or like Virginia breweries, they got in it early.
They're one of the
They've been around
first.
for a
I mean,
long while.
I can't. I've never. I'll do that someday, a chronological order. But they were very, very early.
Definitely. I mean, a
And
lot of
very
people,
good beer from the very beginning.
Yeah, there's a lot of ones popping up here and there, but I mean, Starr Hill is one of those names that you've heard around for quite a long time. A lot of people that probably aren't even into craft beer have at least heard or tried a Starr Hill brew. And the Grateful Ale, man, it's definitely one to give it a go for sure.
And I was in the Wintergreen. I spent some time there. Working and living in that area. So Charlottesville is one of my hanging grounds, and they started out in Charlottesville in a storefront, and that's where I first had their beer. And then they moved to Crozet, and actually the location in Crozet was a Morton's Food Center. When I was a kid and living in Waynesboro, my mom used to, 6 kids, drive us over there in a van, and we'd load up on the smashed pies and the upside-down chicken pot pies to feed the big family. So I'm very familiar with the facility because I was in there as a kid purchasing the factory seconds from Morton Foods.
Yeah, I mean, I know that this is Hokie country, and so Charlottesville might not be super familiar for a lot of people, but it actually is a pretty nice little town. I got some family out there. I've been out there quite a few times, and actually just recently, last summer, I went and stayed with a buddy in Charlottesville. We did a little Brew Ridge Parkway, hit a bunch of breweries, and Starr Hill was certainly one of the ones. They got a cool vibe in there, cool theme. They just got a real chill atmosphere, you know?
And the other half of the building is they sell records. There's a big band came out of Charlottesville.
Oh, crap. What's their name?
Yeah, but anyway, they started selling their CDs and
It says
T-shirts.
like band in the name, right?
Right,
Isn't it?
yeah.
Dave Matthews. That's
right.
it, Dave Matthews.
So they
Band.
started selling their T-shirts and stuff
Yeah.
out of the back of the brewery. And the other half, this is a huge building.
Yeah.
Well, now they sell for, I think, like 250 bands. They have this huge conglomerate back there. So both places have done extremely well. And actually, I saw Crozet has a new brewery. I don't get the name of it offhand, but I'll bring that information back another time. But so, we're getting craft beer everywhere. This was one of the beginning craft beers, and love them or hate them, they've held their own.
They're there, man.
They're
No
there.
doubt about it. I will cheers to Starr Hill. I'm a fan. There's some great beers out there. Starr Hill's got a few good ones. I mean, they're definitely not my favorite brewery by any means, but they're also not the worst brewery by any means as well. Really cool guys. I give them credit there. I mean, if you ever meet somebody from Starr Hill, you can just shoot the S with them for hours without a doubt over a cold one.
They're at Floyd Fest every year.
Yeah, you'll definitely
they're
see 'em
around. You'll see them.
Yeah, for sure.
I like their Jomo lager. You don't see that everywhere, but that's a
Yeah, I
good
don't know
beer
if
too.
I don't know. I'll have to see if I've untapped the Jomo. Speaking of untapped, I'm almost done with this one, so I think I'm about ready to give it a rating for the Starr Hill Grateful Pale Ale. What kind of a rating? 1 through 5. What are you giving it?
I'm in it like a 3.75 on this beer. I like this beer. It's good to style. The hops are there, but they're not giving me too much bitterness. Enough to know they're there, but they're not really overpowering me. So I'm on a 3.75 on this.
You know what? I hate to follow suit, but I think this is a solid 3.75. Definitely above average, and it's got a great color. It's got a great taste. Like you said, it doesn't hit you over the head with the hops because I'm not the biggest hoppy guy, but you'd like to have a little bit of it. I mean, it's beer after all. You need to have some. So Grateful Pale Ale, pretty good. I'll give it a solid 3.75 on the Untapped. Drez Drinks on Untapped if you want to check me out. Huck's Beer Buzz on him. We got another one we'll tap here in just a little bit, but right now we're going to get back to the music, and then we'll pop out, open another one. Brewsday Tuesday continues right here on 105.3 The Bear.